been sorted out pretty fast, probably by a firing or a resignation,
yes.
But it appears to be persistent, and it promises to boil over into something else.
Yes.
Do you think that it could have been handled better? Now we're seeing it on the headlines every single day. This could be doing more damage to the president's position, don't you think?
You know, to me, we should be asking ourselves, what is the cause of this? And the cause of all this is because Muturi's son was at some point abducted, and as a cabinet secretary, he had to go to a greater length, up to the level where he calls the president to have his son released. And this expectation being a senior government official and more so a minister, was that even after releasing the son, he would be getting a report later indicating what really happened, that my son was abducted. Was it because he was on the wrong? Or was it because just to send a signal out there that if we are able to abduct the son of a minister, then the rest of Kenyans, you be prepared. You do a mistake and we are there, which he didn't get. And then after waiting to a level where I think he became impatient, or his patience got out of control, he came out and said, I think just as a way of releasing yourself, you feel like you have done the right thing. He came out publicly and said what really happened. And I think his mistake was to tell Kenyans that as a minister, I'm getting concerned that I was not able to get the details to why my son was abducted, and I was not explained why he was abducted. And you remember at one point he said, I think he had been said to read some statement for the president. And that's the time he said, we are the government. And as a government, we cannot say we don't know what is happening. And to me, that statement was very loaded, and it was actually a statement of fact. Because the government has the systems in place, it has organizations in place. We should help the government know what is happening in this country every morning. That's why we have the NIS. That's why we have the what we call the GAO these days, the National Government Administrative Systems, all the way to the Nyumba Kumi. And if you look at the policy behind Nyumba Kumi, is that wherever you are, within the 10 families around, or within the... So if you, everywhere in Kenya, we know what happens around the 10 families. That information can actually be upscaled all the way to the president. So what Muturi was saying is that now with that scenario, I expect to have been told what happened. Then to make it worse, he's even making these statements when the country has already been faced with that challenge of abductions of so many young people. And now to make it more complicated, now the young people who have been abducted are young people who belong to the families who have no capacity to call the president, as Muturi did. So the question is, who will be able to tell Kenyans now how these young people are abducted? It means Kenyans are on their own. And I think that's why Muturi then was able to say, enough is enough, I'll go public, or I'll say it publicly, and then I will see the consequences. Now, what has happened? I know Muturi very well. He was my speaker for 10 years. Other than just being a speaker, he was a very close friend of mine. And he's a very principled person. And that's why he was telling the majority whip, Honorable Osoro, that some of you are so inexperienced that they cannot question my statements, because he has been in this game of politics for so long. So he's a very principled person, and those who are expecting him just to do things which are not right because he's been challenged, I'm sure at some point, given a choice between resigning and retracting his statements, he will go for resigning. The way I know him.
Really?
Yeah, he will go for resigning.
Many would have expected him to resign by now, but he seems to have chosen to...
But you know what he's saying is, he has done nothing wrong to resign. What he has said is just a statement of facts. He has told Kenyans, my son was abducted. It was never explained to me. And as a Kenyan, I'm concerned that if my son, being a minister, was abducted, and I don't know why he was abducted, I'm concerned the rest of Kenyans will never get to know it. Government, which is headed by President Ruto, can you tell Kenyans what is happening with abductions? That's a statement of fact. Why should you resign out of that?
Allow me
and then you see, to make it worse, the normal stories of Kenyans who cannot accommodate criticism He's now been not invited for cabinet meetings, and he doesn't get the briefing he has normally gotten. You know, if you have been briefing, anytime there's a cabinet meeting, you invite me to a meeting, and then you send me a personalized brief in terms of what is expected from my docket. I just get a general invitation as it is in the standard, and you don't get that brief. Why should you go there? Okay. Because it means then you are not wanted at that meeting. So to him, maybe he's just waiting for proper briefing and he goes for cabinet, because I don't think he has done anything wrong. Unless my friend here will tell me, you know, this government.
Allow me to welcome you.
Unless
allow me to welcome you. Wilson Sosion.